So I'm gonna have to go a bit basic with this one. I wanted to, be interesting and pick something unique, a really strange weapon, a really creative weapon, but ultimately, when it comes to multiplayer satisfaction, I don't think it gets any better than a particularly satisfying shotgun and, running up to someone, pulling the trigger once, turning them into a bunch of blood and gore and viscera and mulch. And you might think you know where I'm going with this, but it's not the Nasher shotgun from Gears of War. It's actually the sawn-off shotgun from Gears of War, which for me just clinches it a tiny bit. It is a bit more difficult to use. You have to be at closer range, but the impact this thing makes when you're up close and personal, like playing Gears of War 3 back in the day. I used to love that online mode, and the Retro Lancer and the double-barreled sawn-off shotgun, like they were just such hard hitters that were quite difficult to use, but were so satisfying when you managed to pull off a kill. And there was nothing better and nothing more infuriating if you're on the other side of it than, shooting someone who's running towards you with this tiny little shotgun, and they're just eating up your bullets and they get to you, and then you're just, like I said, a bunch of mulch on the floor, and it's like cool, thank you for that, but being on the other side of it, I'm so excited. I'm pulling my microphone out, being on the other side of it, and running up to someone and giving them a face full of buckshot is, it's incredible. So every single time, a double barrel shotgun comes out in a multiplayer game, I'm comparing it to Gears 3's, because that, to me, is the absolute creme de la creme of video game weapons. And yeah, we've got like grav hammers, we've got like swords, we've got Odd Job's little hat. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Sometimes the basics work, and the basics are basics for a reason, because they're popular and they get the job done, and nothing gets the job done more than a sawn-off shotgun in Gears of War. Except maybe the Nasher shotgun, but, I can't be greedy. Any shotgun in Gears of War, really.
So my favourite multiplayer weapon isn't one I necessarily have played with, but I remember watching people play with, and that is the Farsight rifle in Perfect Dark. And the reason I say that I hadn't really played with it is because I was very, very young at the time, and I don't really play multiplayer games that often, not ones that have weapons involved anyway. And so when thinking of an OP multiplayer weapon that was my favourite, it had to be the Farsight rifle, because I remember sitting there and playing the game with my uncles and my dad and my cousins and stuff, which I don't think I really played. I think they just gave me a spare controller and just watched. But I remember the Farsight rifle because it was just so majorly OP. It can see through walls, it could shoot through walls, it can lock onto targets, and it just seemed like such a hack. It seemed like an aimbot and a hack built into one that you were able to use legitimately in this 4-player mode of Perfect Dark, and it was badass. It was so good, and I remember people just getting so angry, and I didn't really understand why until I got a little bit older and I sort of understood what was going on. And yeah, the Farsight rifle is just, it's just supreme. It just it makes no sense. I don't know how anyone is supposed to win that game if someone in the game has the Farsight rifle, because there is nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. You can even, if you have the weapon, you can literally camp and just kill everyone within the game without ever having to move. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's OP and it's amazing. And now I really understand why my uncle and cousins don't speak to us anymore. I feel like it ruined quite a few friendships.
Okay, so the greatest video game weapon ever. My mind only goes to one thing, okay, maybe a few things, but they're all from the same series, and that is Halo. There are so many great and iconic weapons in Halo, like the battle rifle, which I think is one of the best weapons ever. The sticky grenades, you have so much fun with them. But the best weapon in the Halo arsenal, I only said RC then, the Halo RC, it is the Gravity Hammer. The Gravity Hammer is just the coolest thing ever. It's like, I just love it to pieces. It has a great sound. You pick it up and it's just, oh man, it's the best thing ever. Sending dudes flying with your big old hammer is a great time in Halo. Especially in the Infection playlist where, the zombies kind of have either energy swords or gravity hammers. And it just makes a great noise. It's such a great idea for a weapon, a hammer that sends people flying. I mean, imagine a normal hammer would probably do the same amount of damage as a hammer that sends you over long distances, but it's all about the aesthetic. That's all it is, it's the aesthetic and the sound. And I just love Halo's gravity hammer. It's a great time. Also, the shotgun in Halo is pretty good. All the weapons in Halo are really good. But the gravity hammer, I think, stands above them all.
Multiplayer weapons, you say? Well, I'm just going to talk about Titanfall 2. I was going to do the gravity hammer from Halo 3, but I think Ewan's going to go for that. If he somehow hasn't, or he went for something else, then my actual answer is the gravity hammer from Halo 3, because I just love just braining dudes with that just out of nowhere, around the corner, and it's a gravity hammer. But if I can do something else, I'll do Titanfall 2's smart pistol. I know that originated in Titanfall 1, but Titanfall 2's multiplayer is just so much better than 1 ever was. Calling in your own mech, building up the meter until you can do that, wall running and sliding, and just the feel of that game. I'm still kind of going to hold up that Titanfall 2 is the best first-person shooter of the generation, which I know is a big, bold claim, but it's only really between that and Doom 2016. It's a pretty close tie. Let me know what you think down in the comments below of that. But also, when you finally unlock the smart pistol, because it's a character perk thing you have to unlock in Titanfall 2, and you finally get that, this weapon is an auto-locking machine pistol, so you're literally, once you get it, you kind of go into that. It's similar to what McCree's mode is in Overwatch, where you just sort of, little targets appear on everybody that's in front of you, and you just take them out all at once, which if you combine with the slides, the wall runs, the general sense of mobility, the grappling hook, or whatever, when you're in Titanfall, it's just amazing. You just tear through stuff in that game. The sense of locomotion is what makes that game anyway. But once you combine that with this really effective liquid butter smart pistol, it just feels incredible. So I'm going to go Titanfall 2. And like I said, if you would have forgot to go with the gravity hammer, then bring on the gravity hammer too. It's a bit of that. It's a lovely time, and I heartily recommend it.
Hello everyone, Perennial Egg Jules here. Now, the best weapon for any multiplayer experience isn't the golden gun, it's not the far sight from Perfect Dark, it's not any of these high-tech weapons, it is the humble brick from TimeSplitters 2, because my god, that thing is so perfectly designed to annoy your mates, cause absolute chaos, and lets you say on the playground the next day, I killed you with a brick, and all the parents just go, what is wrong with that child? Still though, was very, very fun indeed. It's got a terrible arc, it's got not that much range, but bricks only on the Chinese level is literally chef kiss. Go around smashing plates with it, and then your mates come around the corner, boom, boom, brick in the face, boom, boom, brick in the face. I'm making a wall out of your bones and your offal. That looked like I was doing something different. Not what I was doing, but still, the brick from TimeSplitters 2 especially is the best multiplayer weapon. It just hands down. Yeah, I know you can shoot me through a wall and you can do a one-hit kill with something else, but it's a brick in a video game. I can't stretch this out anymore. It's amazing.